Chag Sameach. Can you hear me? Yes. Oh, good. Okay. In those years when I was living in France, I remember one day, maybe 4th or 5th grade, one of my friends came up to me and said, "Why do Jews pray like this?" And he started to do this really plaintive swaying, and I think he might have seen a report from the Western Wall or something like that, Kotel. And I thought, well, that's not really the only way Jews pray. When you talk to people who aren't Jewish often, and their one Jewish prayer they've been exposed to is the mourner's Kaddish. And of course, they don't know that the mourner's Kaddish is really anything but very mournful. It's really a declaration of God's greatness. Glorified and sanctified be God's great name. May his great name be blessed. May there be abundant peace. And it's true that even though our prayers can sound plaintive at times, but the core of our prayers, of our prayer book, the core of who we are is not that. And so we come to this question that's been going around the Jewish world for the past few weeks. What do we do this year with Simchat Torah and understanding Simchat Torah, the joy of the Torah, when it's the anniversary of October 7th? How do you dance with the Torah after the tragedy that happened? How do we understand Simchat Torah? And in Israel especially, there are these discussions about, well, where was our sense of divine protection? It's on the day of the Torah. What happened? The day when we were dancing and loving with the Torah, we were brutally attacked. So in my mind, the answer is, so many times we look within the Torah itself where it says, what is the Torah about? The Torah is about life. I have set before thee life and death, the blessing and the curse, therefore choose life, that thou may live. Or the book of Ezekiel, I gave them my laws and taught them my rules, by the pursuit of which humans shall live. Chai by him. That the Torah is our guide for how to live. And so, how can we stop dancing with our guide of how to live in the moment where we need it most to teach us how to go forward? In the end, that's what the Torah represents. It represents our customs, the ways of our people, our laws, our stories. And when people rush into a burning building, as they've had for millennia, to save a Torah that's burning, it's not only because it's sacred, and it is sacred, but it's because it represents our people. And when we've survived through millennia, why do we survive? Why do we care? Why do we pass it on from generation to generation? Because we cherish this way of life. We cherish these customs. We cherish our history. We cherish our source. We cherish all of it. And that's what the Torah represents. And of course, how it manifests is different now than it was 3,500 years ago. But the core is still, for us, a Torah. It's what we house it in the middle of our sanctuary, in the middle of our synagogues, behind beautiful doors. We dress it up, we put jewelry on it. And even the Talmud, which in many ways tells us more how we Jews have lived for the past few millennia, even in itself, as it was trying to amalgamate all of the rabbinic endeavor, all of hundreds of years of rabbinic thought, and really taking Jewish practice to completely new places to fit a completely different world and circumstances for the Jews and new ideas in human civilization, it still made a point to always try in some ways, at least symbolically, tie it back to the Torah. And as we say every time we bring back the Torah with great love, Et chaim hi lamachazikim ba. We sing this, it's one of the most moving moments when we sing these verses at the end of the Torah. She is a tree of life to those who grasp her. And whoever holds on to her is happy. Originally from the book of Proverbs, where the context, we're talking about wisdom, but for us, the Torah is wisdom. It's telling us how to live. And when Rashi looks at this verse, he says, to grasp it isn't just in some metaphorical way. He says it's like a verse he quotes and extends his hand and grasps it. You have to physically grasp the Torah. And it's one of the reasons why there's a custom when you take an aliyah to grasp both parts of the Torah, of the handles of the Sechaim, because We believe that our creativity, our inspiration flows from the Torah into who we are, and then it bears fruit into much life for all of us. As we say in the Aliyah, at the end of the Aliyah, we say it's planted within us. And so most of the year we chant it, we study it, but at least on this day we literally grasp it and we dance with it, because it's so precious to us, allows us to experience some of where it comes from, the one who gave it to us. And so this year it's true, we're both dancing with it, and we're also weeping with it because of everything we have endured. And because we're crying out to be in that sense of protection, where everything makes sense, as we feel when the Torah and God are one with us, where we feel taken care of and protected. And yet, as I mentioned, this is when more than ever we're trying to find some new wisdom from the Torah, some new life, a new understanding, a gift of trying to understand what's happening to us and then take it forward as we always have done. Maybe in the end, going back to the beginning, why are prayers plaintive or sound plaintive? And it's not plaintive because Jewish people were just mournful or thinking about tragedy or sadness all the time, but rather we're always trying to grow. We're always pleading for that next step forward. We're always trying to plead to try and make sense of the world that we live in, and to dig ever deeper into that deep well of our Torah, into the deep well of our human hearts, and find a way forward from where we are now. And because we know that we'll keep growing with that glimpse of the divine, a work that will sustain us and give us a new hope and open up a new door and help us collect a new branch, new tree, new fruit from a new branch on our collective tree. So this year we grasp the Torah and we dance with a faith that will yield for us more fruit and more life, and that it's still speaking to us, even when we can't always hear its words. It's still holding us and all of humanity as we dance towards our next step. Chag Sameach.